Now I will be starting part 3. And the topic of this part 3 is discerning the forest from the trees. Discerning the forest from the trees. So, the view of a forest as a whole is much different from the view of the individual trees. As you are in a jungle and you are lost in a jungle, what you are seeing at your own level are the big trunks of trees all around you. And the only thing you can see is your own near vicinity of the bushes and the brushes and the trees that are around you. And if you want to get out of it, you have to climb higher to get at the look at the forest, to see where some pathway is, where some river is, or where you can see some mountains so that you can go over it. So this thing also happens in research. Often we get bogged down into the details where we lose sight of the big picture. And that's the difference between the discerning the forest from the trees. And this reminds me of my PhD dissertation. And in that PhD dissertation, the one that I submitted to University of Texas at Austin in the December of 1994, I wrote in that I give credit to my supervisor, Mr. J.C. Brown. This is his picture, Mr. J.C. Brown, and this is the picture of that abstract acknowledgement section of the my PhD dissertation. And here it says very clearly that I'm giving credit to him for enabling me to discern, to differentiate the forest from the tree, from having an overall look of things and then having an look in while you are in the middle at the ground level. So there's a ground level view, and then there is a top level view where you can encompass and see a large area. And that was actually one of the part of my PhD dissertation. What I set out to do in my PhD dissertation was that at that time there were 5 or 6 different approaches of how to solve the problem that was my problem statement. And there were actually 6 different types of approaches that were being used. So my topic was to abstract the commonalities of those 5, 6 different approaches to solving the problem and define them at a higher level where all of these approaches become simply the manifestation of a unified model. And that was my PhD. Of course, what I have stated is at a very abstract level, but basically my idea was how to move away from individual approaches. Once I have understood each one of them, and I had to read about 400, 500 papers, each one related to each area of how to approach that problem. And then from there I had to glean the common features, and from those common features I had to define an abstract mathematical model that can represent each one of those approaches as a different representation of that model. And that provided me with this ability to discern the forest from the trees. And I would like to thank my late supervisor now, he died a few years ago, for helping me understand and grapple with this problem. Of course, it was quite a difficult task to do. It took me about 5 years from the start of 1990 till the end of 94 to complete my PhD. Thank you very much.